Hey guys, today I just want to talk to you for a minute about my home defense setup as far as rifles go. So there's a lot of different thought processes on what's the correct weapon for your home, and where you live is going to dictate some of that. You know, you have the idea of a shotgun, a pistol, a rifle, which one is the best. So we're just going to talk about not which one is necessarily the best for you specifically, because those are going to be factors that are going to be counted into your environment, who's in your home and all that stuff. But as far as it goes, as far as the rifle is concerned, I'll show you how I have mine set up and I'll tell you why. Okay, so with my rifle, there's a few things. One is we want to be ready if someone comes into the house and it's dark out. We need to be ready to defend ourselves at night. Many times when we're defending ourselves at night, if we get caught by surprise, I don't know about you, but when I sleep, I'm usually either naked or in my underwear. So I don't have all my gear on and all that stuff. So if I want to grab my gun and go, I want my rifle to be set up so I have the best odds in my favor to fight. So in this, okay, the first off, what I'm going to show here is the magazine I choose to have is a Surefire 60 round magazine. This saves me from having to have any kit to carry extra magazines. So because this is my home protection one, I'm not like carrying this, you know, extensive distances and whatnot. The weight's not really that big of a deal because it's going to be a short sprint to defend myself. So I have my 60 round magazine. I like to put about 55 rounds in here just to give the spring a little bit of more life since I'm storing it for so long. And then I'll do another video to tell you what I actually put in this and why. The next thing I have, living out in a rural area, is I have a 1 to 4 power optic by Steiner, their P4XI series, which again has an illuminated reticle. So for most people, a red dot sight would be good. Well, this has the red dot option, and I can put on a 1 power, so it's almost like you're just looking through like a normal red dot. But being in a rural area, for whatever reason, if I needed to be outside my home, if there was people and vehicles outside my home or anything like that, I still have 4 power magnification for short range shots. Then what I have here, which is important, is a flashlight. Again, I want to be able to identify who the threat is coming in my home at night. There's been stories about people protecting their family, or they thought there was. You know, there was a story of the guy where his college kid came home drunk one night and didn't have his key, and he was supposed to be away at college. He forgot to tell his parents that he was coming back to visit some friends. He comes climbing through the window, and the dad, you know, without identifying who the threat is by using something like a flashlight or turning the light on in the room, he sees a silhouette coming through the window and he shoots the person in the window. It turns out to be his son. So we need a flashlight or some way to identify who the threat is or what the threat is, so we're not shooting the wrong people, right? Pretty obvious. Then, obviously, most of us, it's always good practice to have a pocket knife on you or some type of edged weapon. So in close proximity, which may encounter in a home, if someone gets a hold of my rifle, here I have a grip knife. And again, this is just good to have if I don't have a place to put my knife on my gear because maybe I'm naked, right? I have essentially 2 magazines. I have a knife, I have a flashlight, I have my red dot all built in. The last thing here, this is extra credit, right? This might not be relevant to most people, but this is a visible and infrared laser by Steiner. If you have access to night vision, or if you want to utilize a laser for aiming at night, you know, this is a great piece of equipment. But again, if you're not using night vision, a lot of that target identification can be achieved through the flashlight and your red dot for aiming versus using the laser. But again, this is the setup that I use. The downside to this is the length. So if you haven't practiced extensively moving in confined spaces with a longer barreled rifle like this, then again, it's something to consider, you know, utilizing the high ready, the low ready, working different angles, shooting, you know, from one side to the other, being able to shoot ambidextrous, or at least, you know, to use angles to your advantage. If you haven't practiced with a rifle this size, then maybe an AR pistol would be more effective for you in a confined space, possibly a pistol. We'll get into in other video series on our website the different types of home defense weapons we use and why, but I just wanted to give you a quick down and dirty on how I set up my personal rifle for home defense and a little bit of an explanation on why I set it up that way.